Welcome. In this video, we present a controlled reduction of a full-gauge theoretic framework for brain dynamics, developed within the context of Ojerudi's electromagnetic consciousness theory. Our goal here is not to replace the complete model, but to isolate, test, and visualize the dominant physical mechanisms in a form that is interpretable, numerically tractable, and directly testable. This reduced model should be seen as an interpretative lens. It allows us to understand why certain interactions matter, before restoring the full nonlinear and non-abelian structure. We begin from a complete, gauge-invariant field theory. In the full formulation, brain dynamics are described as a tri-field system. A U1 electromagnetic field, representing measurable EEG and MEG activity. An SU2 information gauge field, encoding structured mesoscopic information flow. And a mediator field, which couples energy and information. All three fields are derived from a single action principle, and their Euler-Lagrange equations form a closed and consistent system. In this full theory, consciousness is identified with stable, coherent configurations of the coupled gauge fields. The simplified model presented here is derived directly from this formulation. The simplified model is obtained through a controlled and explicitly stated reduction of the full gauge field action. Nothing is removed arbitrarily. We preserve the gauge theoretic structure, the phase-based electromagnetic formulation, the field coupling logic, the full three-dimensional brain geometry, and time domain propagation. We simplify the non-abelian SU2 curvature, mediator field dynamics, higher-order nonlinear couplings, and the parameter space. This is not a toy model. It is a projection of the full theory onto its dominant physical subspace. In multiphysics gauge field models, simplification is not optional. The full system includes non-abelian dynamics, nonlinear coupling, and strongly heterogeneous media. Direct interpretation is difficult, and numerical complexity can obscure causal mechanisms. A simplified model is therefore scientifically necessary to isolate dominant interactions, validate mechanisms, and build intuition. Before moving to full-scale interpretation, the simplified equations are not ad hoc. They are derived from the full Euler-Lagrange equations under clearly stated limits. Weak coupling, slowly varying internal information fields, dominance of selected internal components, and no topological defects. These assumptions define the validity domain of the model. Under these conditions, we obtain reduced equations that retain the same symmetry structure as the full system. Importantly, the simplified equations remain gauge-consistent approximations of the complete theory. In the SU2 sector, the full Yang-Mills curvature includes non-abelian commutator terms. In the present model, these terms are not yet implemented. Instead, we use an abelian-like curl approximation, applied component-wise. This does not break gauge structure. It simply postpones the most nonlinear contributions to a later stage. After controlled term elimination and linearization, the model takes the form of a single, coupled dynamical system. It includes a U1 electromagnetic field solved by FDTD, a reduced SU2 information field stored on lattice links, and a mediator field evolved using explicit finite differences. All components are updated through a fully synchronized time-step pipeline. The numerical implementation directly realizes these equations, without introducing additional modeling assumptions. An important point is that the geometry is not simplified. The model is implemented on a full three-dimensional voxelized head geometry, with tissue-dependent properties and brainscale resolution. Only the field dynamics are simplified. Geometry and discretization remain unchanged. The electromagnetic field remains fully physical and measurable. It is derived from a phase-based formulation and solved using finite difference time domain methods. Anisotropic conductivity is preserved, and sources represent collective neural currents. No neuron-level metaphors are used, only fields. The reduced SU2 field represents internal informational geometry. Although its full non-abelian curvature is simplified, it still supports internal rotations, alignment, and coherence tracking. This retains the geometry of information, without the full stiffness of Yang-Mills dynamics. The mediator field acts as a qualitative coupling channel between electromagnetic and information fields. Its conceptual role is preserved, while its dynamics are simplified for computational feasibility. It enables energy redistribution, field-field feedback, and coherence response. At each time step, all three fields are updated and coupled self-consistently. No field is externally forced. All interactions emerge dynamically. Information field coupling is observed to reduce electromagnetic dispersion and enhance coherence. Two numerical schemes are used, each matched to the structure of its field. FDTD for the U1 electromagnetic field. Lattice-inspired gauge updates for the SU2 field. Both evolve on the same grid with a common time step. This is a reduced prototype of the full coupled solver. We compare the reduced coupled model with classical EEG and MEG forward models. Even under strong simplifications, the coupled system exhibits enhanced long-range coherence and non-trivial phase structure, features absent in classical electromagnetic models. What this model does not yet include, such as full non-abelian curvature or nonlinear mediator dynamics, increases credibility rather than weakening it. What it demonstrates is that coherence is field-mediated, geometry matters, and linear electromagnetism alone is insufficient. This simplified model captures the essential structure needed to reveal the underlying mechanism. The full model restores completeness, nonlinearity, and predictive power. For more details, derivations, and extensions of this framework, we invite you to watch the other videos in this playlist. Thank you for watching.